Boao is located in the coconut paradise, as the world knows this island. Hainan is the rapidly growing region of China. This region is developing its own open-up policies, boosting trade through building a pilot free trade zone and the first free trade port with Chinese characteristics. These days, Boao is hosting its annual conference on enhancing sustainability and economic development of Asia. This is reporter with President's special project on Silkway TV channel. We have arrived in Hainan to closely follow BFA 24's agenda. Let's get started. Hainan is China's most southern province, which consists of several islands in the South China Sea. Its advantageous position has turned the island into a significant shipping hub that links China with ASEAN and Southeast Asian markets. Chinese Boao is one of the safest and most picturesque places in the island that is also known for hosting Boao Forum for Asia. This year, 23rd Forum is focusing on economic development of Asian continent. Boao Forum for Asia annual conference has started its work. We are now located inside the venue. The agenda of the conference this year is very broad, but will mainly focusing on the global economy and the role and contribution of Asia into the global economy. We are waiting for the arrival of the President of Kazakhstan, Kassym-Jomart and walking around the venue. We have arrived in the main venue. This is the platform from where world's biggest powers deliver their speeches and share a vision of the present and future of Asia. Now the guests are arriving too. The last-minute preparations are on the way. Somebody is checking sound, controlling seating arrangement. We're talking to the representatives of the press service of the forum's organizers to know the latest details of the order of speakers. So this is the main hall where Boao Forum for Asia will kick off very soon. As I said previously, the President of Kazakhstan, Kassym-Jomart, who will take part in this forum. Here you can see the flag of Kazakhstan. So this is the place of the President of Kazakhstan, Kassym-Jomart. He will be delivering his speech today in front of the audience. And not only him, this time among keynote speakers are the leaders and top politicians of China, Singapore, Russia, Dominica, Sri Lanka, Cambodia and Nauru. Boao Forum for Asia first meeting was held in 2008, becoming a platform for historic meeting of the leadership of Taiwan and China. Since then, the forum was attended by the leaders or deputies from numerous countries, including international organizations. China's leader Xi Jinping was a key speaker of the forum several years in the row. Apart from high-level guests, including the President of Kazakhstan, Kassym-Jomart, there are more than 2,000 people who will take part in this forum. Like, for example, delegates of Kazakhstan who will be sitting here. You can see the name Kazakhstan, and the seats are being signed off. So all the seats actually are being signed off for guests and participants to easily navigate themselves in this venue. First, who has arrived at the BFA 24 venue is the chairman of the organization, the UN's Ace Secretary General Ban Ki-moon. While taking the stairs, we caught a moment of him greeting us, waving to the camera. As the chairman of the conference, he will greet all other high-level participants who now start arriving too. Now, President Tokayev has arrived. We can see a little conversation and the warm welcome by Ban Ki-moon. A little bit later, all the leaders gather for the photo and the handshakes and proceed to the hall. Now, the Boao Forum for Asia is officially started. The President of Kazakhstan speaks at the forum as a guest of honor. Kazakh leader starts from a very important idea about the importance of Asia, calling the current period of time for the continent as a renaissance.
Asia is expected to contribute 60% of global GDP growth this year. It also accounts for 53% of global goods traded in several of the world's largest and most vibrant economies. Foreign direct investment in Asia has grown significantly in recent years. It is also home to some of the world's leading technology hubs, accounting for 70% of global patent filings. The region has substantial human resources 21 of the 30 largest cities worldwide are in Asia. Of the anticipated $30 trillion in middle-class consumption growth by 2030, only $1 trillion is expected to come from today's Western economies.
Kassym-Jomart Tokayev also pays special attention to the new economic course of Kazakhstan he introduced earlier to transit Central Asian country into regional powerhouse.
It registered economic growth of 5.1% last year, almost twice the projected rate of global growth. In the midterm, we aim to sustain at least 6% growth and double our economy by 2029. To achieve this, I initiated a new economic course, one that requires structural reforms, but also builds a more dynamic and stronger nation. Kazakhstan's open door policy, vast resources, and free market reforms have attracted many foreign companies, including Chinese. We have also recently created a high-powered investment board to bolster implementation of investment projects through prompt decision-making and comprehensive end-to-end state support. In this regard, we invite our Asian partners to invest into our economy and open new avenues for mutually beneficial cooperation.
This was very powerful speech, says former President of Slovenia Danilo Turk. Talking to us after the plenary session, Mr. Turk made a long-standing career in the United Nations, serving as a permanent representative of Slovenia to the UN and also being the president of the Security Council twice. Talking about Kazakhstan's prospective contribution in the development of Asia, a long-time Slovenian diplomat underlines that the real time has come for Kazakhstan.
What I would like to say, it's a very powerful speech. I know President Tokayev from before because we both worked for the United Nations years ago, and I was very interested in hearing how he is doing as president and what his message will be. And it was, as I said, a very powerful message, showing a great power of development and transformation of Kazakhstan. It seems that right now the real time for Kazakhstan is coming in terms of development, because Kazakhstan is developing very quickly and with a view to helping an overall Asian and global development. And secondly, I also think that in this way it is building a political potential as a country which is actually part of the Euro-Asian future.
While plenary session is still on, the preparations for the upcoming bilateral meetings with President Tokayev are well underway. The first one is with BFA's chairman Ban Ki-moon. Right after the plenary session, the president is heading to the meetings under the closed doors. Our cameras catch the moment of surprise and anticipation of people who gathered around the venue. Kazakh president has arrived in Boao after the personal invitation of Ban Ki-moon.
Now, as you see, the first meeting, bilateral meeting between the Kazakh delegation led by the President of Kazakhstan and the chairman of Boao Forum for Asia, Mr. Ban Ki-moon, is about to start. The Kazakh delegation has just arrived and the President is inside the room.
Right after the President, Ban Ki-moon is approaching the room. Now the doors are closed, the meeting has kicked off.
Now, the bilateral meeting between the Kazakh leader and the chairman of Boao Forum for Asia is on the way under the closed doors. We will try to know all the details, asking Mr. Ban Ki-moon about the future cooperation and the role of Kazakhstan after the meeting finished.
Kassym-Jomart Tokayev, among other topics, informs Ban Ki-moon about Kazakhstan's international initiatives and invites the 8th Secretary General of the UN to take part in the upcoming Astana International Forum. When the meeting is over, Mr. Ban Ki-moon, in a brief interview, recalls the moment he first met Kazakh President.
I met him when he paid a state visit to Korea a few years ago. We had a breakfast together, and I'm very glad that we are still keeping very good bond of friendship. He has been successfully managing and trying to promote a better relationship between East and West. So Kazakhstan is very strategically located. I wish that you could play a much more role to play a role between East and West.
Kazakh president also meets with the OECD Secretary General Matthias Korman, discussing the global economic outlook and development of Central Asia. After the meeting, we asked Mr. Korman about the prospect of Kazakhstan to become an OECD member.
How do you assess the possibility of Kazakhstan to become a part of OECD and in general the development of Kazakhstan nowadays?
Well, Kazakhstan is doing very well. Whether or not Kazakhstan becomes a member of the OECD depends on Kazakhstan first expressing an interest in becoming a member of the OECD. So that is entirely in Kazakhstan's hands.
Mm-hmm. So what was the main points you discussed with the President today at the meeting?
Well, we had a very good discussion about the global economic outlook, about the work we're doing together to help optimize the strength of the global economic outlook, and that was a good discussion. Kazakhstan is a very substantial economy. It's the biggest economy in Central Asia, and it has an important role to play as part of the global market.
Are you planning to visit Kazakhstan this year?
I'm hoping to visit Kazakhstan later this year, yes.
To discuss in particular Kazakh-Chinese relations, President Tokayev is invited by the chairman of the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress of China, Zhao Leji. Both parties acknowledge the prioritized nature of bilateral cooperation. Kazakh leader stresses upon concrete examples like significant growth of trade as well as growth of Chinese investment into Kazakh economy. The day second of the working visit of the President of Kazakhstan to the Chinese Hainan Island. Some of the important meetings are scheduled for today as well. Like, for example, with the chairman of State Power Investment Corporation, Mr. Liu Minshen. The head of one of the largest Chinese energy companies reports President on the investment projects for the construction of wind farms with an aggregate capacity of 1 gigawatt in Jambil and Pavlodar regions of Kazakhstan. The other meeting involving the head of state is with Xiang Wenbo, rotating chairman of the board of directors of Sany Group, one of the biggest manufacturing companies of China. The corporation is involved in the implementation of a project to build a 1 gigawatt wind power plant and is considering the construction of a plant to assemble components for wind power plants.
We're already working closely with our Kazakh partners on a project to build a wind farm in Kazakhstan. We're now working on an investment agreement, which we plan to sign in July this year. According to this agreement, we're ready to invest $10 million at the initial stage, with a total investment about $100 million.
We have had a number of meetings in the energy sector with our Chinese counterparties, companies such as China Power International Company, a leader in the energy sector, one of the largest generation companies in the world. Moreover, we have met with the Sany Group. Sany Group is one of the largest top 500 companies, private companies of China. We will be using equipment of Sany Group to realize our windmill factory of 1 gigawatt, which I've described earlier.
How much of amount of investment we are talking about now?
With this 1 gigawatt windmill, we are talking with the investments of north to 1 billion. I think it will be 1.2 billion US dollars altogether.
Development of the global economy based on international cooperation and shared responsibility is something that will help to prosper Asia, a new rising economic powerhouse of the 21st century. This is Reporter with President, special project on Silkway TV channel. See you next time.